So we've just recently had a Nintendo Direct Mini that was pretty much unannounced. It was announced like the day before it went out. And I'm joined by Jason via Discord because RMI TV has been stolen from us. We are finally practicing social distancing. It only took, an entire shutdown. Somehow still not enough by the libs. Anyway, the Nintendo Direct Mini had a bunch of announcements for some Nintendo games, some AAA games that we actually haven't seen come to Switch yet. And I think it kind of addresses some of like the holes that we've spoken about before, where Nintendo has Animal Crossing come out and then basically nothing afterwards.
So obviously they made a big deal of Xenoblade, like it was Xenoblade 1, not Xenoblade 2. That's correct, isn't it?
That's correct, yeah. So it was basically, the whole point was that it is a remake. So it looks like a brand new game. It looks pretty much like Xenoblade Chronicles 2. So get ready for like 384p in portable mode, 720p in docked mode. But even then, it looks really good, especially when you put it side by side with the Wii one.
Yeah, it scales real well. So it really does. It's a good art style. It scales well. Like all Nintendo art styles, we had this conversation recently where, basically all Nintendo art styles scale well. It's their biggest advantage. It's the one thing they do really, really well. And they've done a great job with Xenoblade by the looks of it. So, but this is the thing. It's only the remake. So is that did they give a date on that, or was it just like the announcement, like just showing off the actual trailer for it?
Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition is launching on Switch on 29th of May. So we do actually have a pretty quick release, like sort of window after announcement for that one.
There's your mid-year remake, Mario Kart 8. Toad, Captain Toad.
Best game on Switch.
There's your mid-year remake. They still haven't announced their big one for Christmas. Like, was there anything new that they announced at Christmas, or was it like it's kept it kind of on the DL for now?
There wasn't anything big first party. The only other sort of new game announcement was Bravely Default 2. I'm not totally sure. Do you know if that's a first or a second or third party?
It's one of those weird second party ones where they are the ones who are publishing it technically, and Square Enix are making it. So it's like Astral Chain.
Those are the sort of the big first-ish party announcements. The rest of what we got was a weird mix of AAA-ish third party, and then like a few, I wouldn't say that it's necessarily like smaller indie stuff, but I wouldn't really call it AAA, like sort of, I guess, the B-level stuff. So a few ports, I guess, would be worth pointing out. Panzer Dragoon Remake, which I think wasn't that on Saturn?
Originally it was, and then I think it didn't come to Xbox 360.
It was on Xbox Original, or there was Orza on Xbox Original, and then there was 360, like a arcade release, I don't know, something like that.
Yeah.
There was Star Wars Jedi Knight, Jedi Knight, Jedi Academy. Why is there two Jedis in that name? Weird. I'm not a Star Wars boy, so I don't actually know what the hell that means. And then outside of that, other AAA-ish, B-ish, Burnout Paradise Remastered. We saw that come to PS4 and Xbox One a little while ago. Now it's coming to Switch. Also, while we're talking about good things, Catherine Full Body coming to Switch as well, which is very, very good, and I'm actually pretty excited.
It's a good game for it. It's part visual novel, part block puzzler. Like, is it really going to drain that many resources? And if Catherine can work on 360, it can work on Switch. Well, I don't see why not.
And I mean, you've been talking about how if you're wanting like a dating game, I'm not sure that's quite the term that you use, but Switch is kind of the home for that now.
It's the hentai otome console now, like 100% the otome console. Yeah, it's 100% the otome console. So why not go the boy version and have Catherine as well? I don't know, something. It's weird. It's weird that it's weird. It's weird that we live in a world where Catherine is on the. Bizarre to me.
The one that's kind of being mixed in its response was actually a bunch of 2K games. So there is the XCOM 2 collection, which contains XCOM 2, a bunch of DLC. That I imagine will probably be fairly well regarded because XCOM hasn't really had a
as long as it's not
game.
I mean, it works on iPad. It was worked on iPad 2. I had an iPad 2 mini and it worked on it. Being turn-based, you got a little bit more leeway with the graphical rendering and stuff like that. So you got to think. I'm a big fan of XCOM. I'm a big fan of turn-based battlers. So I'm keen for that. Like, of all the 2K announcements, that's the one that I'm like, it makes sense. And it's a good train game. Like, you just do one battle when you're on the train or whatever. It makes sense from the handheld point of view. So that's a good one. But I know some of the other 2K announcements that aren't quite so good.
No, Borderlands, Borderlands: The Legendary
you
Collection,
stole my joke. That's my
Borderlands 2, and Borderlands the pre-sequel. The problem, so that's one collection. BioShock is also getting BioShock 1, 2, and Infinite Remastered in BioShock: the collection. Very creative names. The problem with those ones is that the cartridge that you get, should you decide to go for the physical version, you actually only get the intro scenes of each game, and you have to download the rest of them, as opposed to like Spyro 1, for instance, where you are given the entire first game on the cartridge of the disc, and then you download everything else. It kind of makes sense because you have a piece of meat there to work through, whereas this, it's like, oh, you can play through the first half hour of each game.
That is bizarre. Like, I think you're right. I think it would have been smarter to go, okay, so we can fit it onto 11 gig or 12 gig, and then the cartridges, the maximum on the cartridges before they've gone to these new ones are 16 gig. You just go, let's just put BioShock 1 on there, and then that way people can play BioShock 1 while the other ones are downloading.
Yep.
That makes more sense to me, but I guess we live in a world where, you know, PlayStation and Xbox will insist on telling you ready to play. And it's like, are you though? Like, then you click on it and it's literally just a screen saying, wait for the rest to download. At least with like Mortal Kombat and stuff, it'll be like, as the fighters it downloaded the main engine, and then it downloaded the fighters as time went on. So you could play like Scorpion versus Sub-Zero, and then eventually Sonya would show up, and then eventually this one would show up. And it was like, that makes more
a pretty good implementation. I like that.
I'm like, that's bad. That works. Like, that's fine. But it was, this is just bad. Like, I don't know. 2K.
Ninjala was, I think, the one that stuck out to me is a little bit weird. It looks very first party-ish. It looks very Splatoon to me, but it's being developed by a third-party developer. It is a free-to-play. It's a free-to-play game with up to 8 players in kind of a battle royale sort of vibe.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Yeah, look, I don't know. I mean, it's weird that they're doing this stuff like there was the one that they had in the previous direct, the Nindies direct, which was like the time-based shooter where you set out like ghosts of yourself and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it, but like, how much do they expect to? I don't know, man. I don't know how much they expect to actually get out of multiplayer games that aren't Splatoon. But yeah, I mean, Ninjala, it's got that real like. You're right. It's a Splatoon aesthetic. If we're gonna call it anything, it's that, you know, like Asian streetwear mixed with like cool kids, like Fortnite without the patronizing kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm kind of interested to see. It probably won't be the best game. Like, if you want a really polished experience, probably just play Splatoon. Or if you just don't want to feel cheated out of your money, probably play Splatoon. But I'm still interested to see that when it comes out. That one is coming out. When is it coming out? That one's coming out on the 27th of May. So we're getting a lot of May-ish release dates. I think it kind of makes sense when you consider when E3 would typically be. When, like, you're talking about a Christmas release, that would probably be coming in an E3-ish announcement. It's been a good showing. We, at this point, probably can look forward to more coming in June. You still think that's probably going to be a Metroid game? Is there anything else that you think might be coming?
They still got to announce their big first party for Christmas, and they haven't. And I doubt. I mean, I'm pretty sure. Did they confirm that Breath of the Wild was 2021? I'm pretty sure they did. Or did they? Because it was from the direct last year. So they said maybe that's our Christmas game. I doubt it, but maybe that's our Christmas game. Because there's got to be one. This is their new pattern. A mid-year remake, end of year, big one. And like every year that they've had the Switch, they followed that rule basically. So I'm just waiting for what their big one is at the end of the year, and I don't know what it is. It could be Metroid, because that's something that they've had in development for a while. It could be Breath of the Wild, because I don't think they specified 2020 or 2021. I don't know, man. It's going to be interesting to see what they actually do in the end, but I got no idea what the actual intent is, if you will.